Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today. I think we have at least 100 or not more people, right? Joining, or we'll see. Anyway, today's program is going to be about praising our Lord El Cantare and the teachings, and also celebrating the members and meeting the rest of our US and Canada friends. And we want to also showcase the change that can happen to you. Happy Science is all about transforming yourself and improving yourself through the teachings. So today, we will see firsthand testimonials on how the teachings work in daily life. But let us first introduce Master Okawa, the founder of Happy Science. So Master Okawa has found Happy Science 38 years ago. He has published 3,150 books. That's a lot of books. And he is the Guinness World Record holder of that. He's the executive producer of 30 movies, and he has started this global movement for happiness. So, as you can see, we've all come together to praise Master Okawa and also the great teachings. Today, we're live across the United States and Canada, like I said. So this is not your typical Sunday service, but a gathering and celebration of the members who have changed their lives. And for you also to become the next person to change your life. We hope that from today's program, we are able to show you how wonderful the teachings are and how they can change you. And if you're totally new, by the end of the program, we welcome you to join the Happy Science family. And if you're already a student member, maybe it's the time to become a devotee. So first, let's introduce each temple. Okay, please enjoy.
Welcome to Happy Science Chicago!
Welcome to New York Temple! Welcome! Welcome to New York Temple! Aloha from Happy Science Hawaii Temple. Mahalo!
Aloha from Hawaii Shoka!
Welcome to Toronto Temple!
Welcome to Vancouver.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing your wonderful temples. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so in order to start our program, we're going to have a wonderful musical performance. Although we're just live here in the US and Canada today, we have friends from Europe, the country of Austria, who has sent us a lovely gift of song. So to set a beautiful spiritual atmosphere, please enjoy the song titled Beginning. Wow, right? So beautiful. That song is originally recorded by a male vocalist. I've never heard it that way before. And the chorus is so beautiful. It's from the soundtrack of the movie The Laws of Alpha. So please watch if you can. Okay, now that we have a beautiful spiritual atmosphere, we're going to do a short seminar on the spiritual view of life. We're going to swing over to San Francisco, where Walter Yamazaki, lay lecturer, will conduct a short 10 to 15-minute seminar on the spiritual view of life. This short seminar will showcase the benefits of having a spiritual perspective and show how it completely enhances your daily life. Through this seminar, you can glimpse how beneficial it is to use these teachings and to have them guide you to live a full, meaningful, and hopeful life. Today's keyword, hope. Now, let us welcome Walter.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you very much for having me today. Today's talk is truly about opening the age of the sun and to create a happier and hopeful life. I'd like to open this talk about happiness. And so when we talk about happiness and happy science, we know that this subject is far from superficial. Carries a significant and substantial meaning to it, because happiness, we are talking about, relates directly to our perpetual spiritual growth, right? And this spiritual growth or development of our happiness meets three grand objectives. And that is love, enlightenment, and the creation of utopia. Now, those who are new to the word creation of utopia, this is synonymous to the word of creating heaven on earth from the Christian standpoint, or Buddha land from the Buddhist perspective. But notice the order. It starts from love, right? And then enlightenment. And then together we can create a world, make this world a better place. So happiness is the experience where we are in the process of reaching closer to God and closer to God's ideal. And this is because this is how we are created. The core of who we are is a fragment of Him, right? That's how we understand it. And we call this Buddha nature, or we are children of God, to put it in a different word. But the thing is, in order to create utopia, it must start from you. Okay? And it's not your parents, not your supervisors, not your leaders, not the president, not someone else, not your neighbors. It starts from you. And you are the key to open up the hope for the future. Now, what Master have said and continually taught us is that what is imperative here is to decide. Decide to be happy, right? Decide to harness this happiness in your life. And so when you walk out that door, or those of you who are online, who are online today, those of you who are sitting in that chair in front of that screen, when you leave that room, declare and decide that you will make this day a good day. Decide that you will make that step forward. And we have to decide to lean in. I like to say we have to. I would like to say we just decide to, right? So let's not be passive about life. That's what I like to say here, is time won't wait for us. Opportunities are right in front of us, right now, every day. And God is just waiting for us to make a choice, to take action. So when we decide to take that step forward every day, that one small step you make for yourself will contribute to the one giant leap for humankind. We've heard that word, something similar, right, from Neil Armstrong. Take that one small step for yourself, but I'd like to change it to take one small step for yourself that will contribute to one giant leap for humankind. And why do I say this? Well, everything you need is right in front of you. That one drop of rain may seem insignificant, right? But understand that your one small drop combined with everyone else in the world who is doing the same thing can create a grand river that can push away all obstacles. It will become a great force of love and light that washes away all the negativity. We have that power together. It's because each individual light you amplify is not only coming from you, but it is also attracting God's light and bringing down to this world, this earth. That's how powerful that this force can become. So the thing is, we just need to start small, right? Start from the life that you are living now. That is enough to live your life the best that we can, because everything you need right now is right in front of you. Knowing the why. Why are you here in this world? So I'd like to challenge you today and ask yourself this. Why am I here? What is my purpose in life? Why am I experiencing the myriad of issues in my life right now? Why is life so hard, right? Sometimes that happens to us. But why this happens, and the thing is that in this physical world, people are confused. When we look at this world only from the perspective of the physical world, it is easy to determine what is happiness and what is not. We don't want to suffer. We don't want discomfort. And we see many things happening in the world that challenges us, that challenges our faith in humanity, especially. We may experience heartbreak, theft, loss, failure, death, unemployment, criticism, misunderstandings, disappointments, and all sorts of events that causes disharmony in our minds and people, and even the nation. But when we ask why we must experience such negative things, that seemingly negative things in life, Master Okawa has reminded all of us a simple but very important truth about our life. And he said, I quote from the Laws of the Sun, "We were given eternal life. Since then, we have reincarnated into this world over and over to fulfill the spiritual training of the soul." Here I'd like to introduce Master's lecture. It's from the lecture called The Power of Invincible Thinking. It's an excerpt, it's about 2.5 minutes long, but he says something that's very significant here. So here it is.
Invincible thinking is based on the philosophy that we are essentially a soul that dwells in a human body. It means the three-dimensional world in which you currently live in is not the real world. You are a soul that originally lived in the real world, the world beyond the fourth dimension that extends to the ninth dimension. As the world goes through changes, you are born time and again with a different nationality, occupation, or gender to gain new experiences each time. If you think that this physical world is the only true world, it is easy to distinguish between happiness and unhappiness. However, if you know that your life is not limited to this world, and that you will eventually return to the real world, you will know that you are born with a new name, personality, or gender to undergo soul training. In living as a completely new person, with a new body, you gain new experiences for your soul's growth. This is the starting point of what constitutes our life. If you accept the idea that the other world does exist, and that people return to that world after they die, then you can perceive this world as being a school for your soul, and that everything you experience is allowed to exist for the purpose of education. If you are to think in that way, then you mustn't fall into making the mistake of blaming your parents or the company you work for the unfortunate circumstances you find yourself in.
Thank you, Master. So he said everything is allowed to exist for the purpose of education. So even though it may seem, happy or, unhappy experiences, all of that are allowed to exist in order for us to extract wisdom from it. Master Okawa in Invincible Thinking, in the book, he also mentioned the main challenge in life is how to make the utmost effort using all the knowledge, skills, and ideas you possess to cope with the problems you are confronted with and transform what you gain into strength for your soul. So never be satisfied simply to avoid or deny a problem. This is expressed in the teachings of happy science that states life is like a workbook of problems to be solved. So based on this thinking, right, there's an understanding of how we can live life and guarantee happiness. And that is, we choose our life. Therefore, we must assume 100% responsibility for our own life. This is the starting point of happiness. And so when we are accountable for everything that goes on in our life, right, then we are able to harness the power to change it. When we disregard this accountability and say it's their fault, it's the world's fault, it wasn't my fault, right? Basically, you're giving up that freedom of being able to change. You're giving up that power to somebody else to decide for you. But Master says, no, we each have that ability. We each have that power to change. He said in Invincible Thinking, what you see as an insurmountable problem is, in fact, nothing more than a mirage. It is simply your own karma appearing before you in the form of some problem or worry. What you are fighting in the ring is not another person. It is a battle between you and your karma, and you have to win this match at all costs. This is the purpose of your present incarnation. He says, this is the purpose of your present incarnation, right? So I'd like you to stop and think for a moment about your current life right now. What is that big challenge that you are facing right now that preoccupies most of your mind. And that is perhaps one of the things that we have planned before we were born into this world that we must tackle. It is perhaps our tendency. It is perhaps the karma that we have, maybe we have to harvest this time. It's something that we can learn from and evolve. So from this perspective of facing our own karma, what do you think is the challenge you decided to face in this lifetime? So every day is an opportunity for you to move one step forward. What will you do in the mirror and ask yourself that? Maybe not. But you can do that once you go home today, or even now, look at your cell phone and look at that reflection of your own face. Ask yourself this question: what will I do today? What is my objective? What is my mission? And this isn't translated in English yet, but there's a book called Dynamite Thinking. It's one of the 3 main books that encompasses Master's a theory on progress. And in Dynamite Thinking, he said, light the dynamite inside your soul today, right? So he says, decide to change today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel you're ready, right? He said, decide to do it now, today. Decide to transform into a renewed person today. So inside your mind and your heart, you have a powerful dynamite, he said, ready to unleash the power of personal transformation. This explosion is not the destructive kind. This explosion is the power to light up the hearts of the entire world. It is the explosion of God's light. This is how we can create a utopia in this world. Now, when we say light, it's not the light that you can see. It is the light that you cannot see. It is a light that you feel, right? It's that power that just shakes you. It's not seen in like this light bulb. It's something much greater than that. So imagine this intense explosion of light, this Buddha's light, reaching far and wide in all directions, from San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles, Orange County, Florida, Georgia, Chicago, Toronto, Vancouver, Hawaii, everywhere. Just imagine from you as an individual, in the temples that where we are here today. And imagine this invisible but powerful light just going out in all directions. That is when the age of the sun is coming. It has already arrived. It's up to us now. With this power, we can create happiness, a great path of happiness for everyone to walk on. You all know this Laws of Hope, this book. And I'd like to also introduce a few excerpts from this book, as this is very relevant. He says, Master Okawa wrote, "There will be countless objectively bad conditions and circumstances. When they come, look inside yourself and check for a burning desire for your mission first. As long as this fire, this light, keeps burning, you can continue and walk ahead. As long as this light burns, you cannot help but move forward day by day, whatever the day brings you, because you'll know it's your mission to shed light upon the world." In Laws of the Sun, chapter 1, the Son of Buddha's Truth, he also teaches us, from this time on, the sun of Buddha's truth rises. A great light will burst out from the corner of the globe. That particular corner is where Buddha has been reborn, Japan. Starting in Japan, many people will witness the sun of Buddha's truth rising brilliantly and gracefully. The world needs light now. There is a pressing need for Buddha's truth to be spread with overwhelming power, to crush the forces of darkness named delusion, which humanity has long been working to build. So, the creation of utopia, what can we do, right? What can we do? What can we as individuals do? I'm not asking you to do anything large. We're not saying save the world, right? Go in the corner of the streets and yell. Well, I guess that's what we do sometimes with the books. That's necessary. That is necessary. But what I'm saying is that people who can't do that, it is possible for you to contribute to the change of the world. And what Master teaches us in this book, The Laws of Salvation. Sorry, I don't have the book image there, but it's this one. I'm not sure if everyone could see. He teaches us 3 points in the first chapter. He says, teach the spiritual perspective of life. And what I've mentioned before about the importance of knowing that we are spiritual beings. People need to know, right? This world is not it. Our physical being, the name that we have, the skin that we have covered over our souls, that's not who we are. Who we are is inside. Everything, I mean, your title, how much you make, what company you work for, what kind of education you have, master's degree, whatever degree you have, it does not matter when we leave this world. What matters is your heart. Teach the right way of living, the exploration of the right mind, right? The fourfold path. We know exactly what we need to do to find out how to walk this path of happiness, how to achieve enlightenment. And then the last one is raise the awareness that religion is good. These days, religion has a bad stigma, right? There's like, we're being discriminated, I guess, in a bad way. I think it's up to us to say, hey, just like anything else, there are good and there's bad. Let me tell you how we know what is good. And we are living proof that we are doing good. By learning, by practicing, by becoming happy, by increasing the light in your own world, people can notice. People will notice. I guarantee that. And so decide. One small step for yourself is one giant leap for humankind. And so decide what you wish to do now, today, right? So in Hawaii, to close this, I wanted to show this picture. I know that the Hawaii members recognize this, and those who went to Hawaii know this plate. And I always am encouraged by this. He says, be positive, right? Master said that when he visited Hawaii. Be strong, be brave, be positive in your life, be powerful, be constructive, go ahead and ahead. And that is his wish for each one of us. And so as members of Happy Science, the exploration of the right mind is the objective as a seeker of truth, a seeker of happiness. And so those who are not members, I highly recommend and decide today to walk this path, because I guarantee it has changed my life. It has changed a lot of people's lives, and it will change the future for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Walter. Great. And if you want to learn more about this and other seminars at Happy Science, please reach out to your local minister, and also take advantage of the discipleship courses that we have here. A lot of people don't know where to start because there's so many books at Happy Science, right? And you join every Sunday and you think, okay, how do I start? Well, there's something called the discipleship course where you could take one-on-one to help you make like very steady and good progress in your learning at Happy Science. So now we're going to swing down to Los Angeles, where our Dharma friend Barry from LA Temple, he will be sharing his comeback story for his life through the teachings of Happy Science.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to share this story. As a young boy, my parents in this lifetime provided very well for me. My dad did a great job, and my mother forged the spiritual path for us. And we started as Christians. We were initiated into transcendental meditation. We learned Eastern philosophies, and I learned a good bit of knowledge by reading and being around all of those different teachings of truth. And I gained a good bit of insight into how things worked. However, my challenges really came later in life. I suffered a pretty strong divorce, and at the age of 52, I lost my business, and that really brought me to my knees in a really, really powerful way. However, as life would have it, that's when I found the laws of the sun through my dear mother. And I realized that I did anything. That book really opened my eyes, and everything that I had learned before that didn't hold a candle to what I read when I got hold of that book. I read it in maybe a day. And in that book, I learned about the laws, and I started practicing the laws of cause and effect. And, the things that I participated in that had me in this particular situation. I learned and understood the Four Noble Truths about life. And I also learned about laws of wealth. How do you learn about laws of wealth in a religious organization? And then the big one was that challenges are blessings. When I came to understand that, this business loss took on a whole different color. And I have to tell you, at the end of the day, I've been able to rebuild myself with a smile and have come to welcome that business loss. It was tough, but I've come to understand why it had existed in my life. So at Happy Science, there are thousands of books, as you've heard, and I've only eaten a small portion of it, and I need to start over reading them right now because I've changed. And the biggest blessing for me 10 years later is to be able to look back and see who I've become. Who I've become is something that I like that guy so much more. And I would say to all of you, reading these books and studying them, your happiness is assured with a smile. It is assured with a smile. What's needed from you, I said, is to decide and make a choice. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Barry. I love hearing your voice and hearing you talk. And every time you share your story, I'm just like, oh, don't cry. But anyway, if I may share my own story, I'll make it short. Let's see, long story short, my husband and I opened a business here in New York City. And we opened the day that New York City shut down during the pandemic. And we were like, oh, great. It's a cocktail lounge. And Happy Science is a place for all sorts of people. So cocktail lounges are fine. But anyhow, people need to drink, right? And relax. But so it's not at the temple. That's exactly why we created it. So anyway, the city shut down. We just got our license to open. What are we going to do? And it was really, really, really a dark time for everybody, but especially for someone who's trying to open a business, right? Anyhow, we really, really kept sane by meditating and visualizing and also praying. And I remember doing the prayer for resurrection. And I didn't know really what it was, but I didn't pray to resurrect our business because we had no business to resurrect, first of all, but to resurrect New York City. And I was like so angry that New York City was dark and peopleless and dire, and it was depressing, right? We were all here. So I was just filled with anger, but also we were overcome by a sense of peace and peace through effort. And so I just want to say that making steady effort, even in those really dark times, is going to give you peace of mind, because at least you can do something about it, right? We hear about self-responsibility, taking charge, and it's really, really, really important to have this. We could have been victims. We could have, sure, in a way, we all were, right? But for us, we kept sane by studying the teachings. I helped my husband understand the teachings and to guide meditations for him at home. And believe it or not, about a year later, I was like 6 months pregnant. Finally, the business opened, limited capacity, and we finally were able to open. Someone had TikToked video, like made a video, and it blew up on the internet. And we had no idea. We were not even on TikTok. And I didn't even know what it was, to be honest. And so someone blew it up. It went on like, I think there was like almost 1 million hits or something crazy like that. Anyhow, all of a sudden, all these emails start coming in. Can I make a reservation? And we could only take like, I don't know, 15 people at a time. Sooner or later, we had like a 1,500 people wait list. And I was like, oh my God, we blew up. And we were on TV, the news came, and it really, really started to blow up. And that was just like, I couldn't even ask for that, right? Just like people are like, who's your publicist? I'm like, no one. Like, I don't know what's going on, to be honest. Anyway, long story short, our place is in the subway. It's on the one train uptown on 28th Street. And the subway, the MTA, they wanted people to start coming back to work and to start riding the subway again. And so they awarded us an award saying, you guys are comeback heroes. We're bringing the city back. So we just want to share some pictures. She's the commissioner of the MTA. That's my husband over there. As you can see, we're all masked up. But yeah, just to be named by the MTA was very official, right? Like New York City comeback heroes. Like, that's kind of cool, right? That's our bar. And yeah, we were like on the news and the New York Post as well. So being a New Yorker myself, to be on the New York Post was kind of cool. Yeah. So I just wanted to thank you for letting me share my story, but also, yeah, keep praying, keep making effort. There's peace in effort. And yeah, it's just beyond our wildest dreams. So thank you very much. Moving along, we are going to talk more about those books that saved my sanity and all of our sanities, right? When we really need it. Here is a short video, fellow members, talking about how the Kyotens, we call them Kyotens, the books of Master Okawa are called Kyotens, and how Kyotens has changed their life. Please watch.
Invincible thinking has helped me in my family because I don't give up. It's overwhelming sometimes to multitask so many things. And each kid requires a different amount of affection and support and educational development and tendering to their particular needs and tailoring that to each individual child, and also responsibilities for my personal growth and home cleaning and cooking and everything else. You have to have a stable foundation and invincible thinking mentality that you overcome, and if you fail it, you just get it back up and do it again.
Hi, today I would like to introduce you guys to this book called Unshakable Mind by Master Okawa. This book gives you insight into how you can deal with setbacks and to be able to withstand life's turbulence with a good state of mind and a strong mindset. As a college student who has been very confused about what they want to learn and what they want to pursue and study, I've been very conflicted as to whether what I'm doing is the right thing to do. However, by reading this book, I realized that accumulating knowledge actually gets you to a higher state of mind, to be able to understand people, to look at situations from different perspectives, and ultimately be able to see challenges as more of a learning opportunity than a setback. I hope that you guys will give this book a read. I think it'll be a great way for you to be able to develop a unshakable mind, of course, and then to be able to change your perspective on things, to be able to enhance the quality of each day that you live, and to want to learn more about happy science.
Thank you so much to those lovely ladies for sharing. And I just want to mention those two books, especially Invincible Thinking and Unshakable Mind, has been very formative for me, but also two of the greater books that can help you understand the spiritual perspective of life and help you navigate this crazy world. So moving along, let's now welcome our very own Annette from New York Temple to give us a talk on how Kyoten has changed her life.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Annette Perzingabayer, and I've been a member for 10 years. I found Happy Science when I was in my 20s. Now I'm 33. And would like to tell you more about the Kyoten. So the books, there's a wide range of subjects in Happy Science. We talk about spirituality, we talk about health, we talk about finances, we talk about the science of your soul, the science of the spiritual world, and the world below as well. We talk about literally everything. However, where you want to start, I highly recommend to start where you're at. So back in the day, I was very into personal development. So I want to be better, I want to do better, and everything else. But one day, it was just a random day, nothing special. There was a staff here. I think she is in Europe now. I asked her a really random question. I asked her, which book do you like? It was just very, easy conversation. And she told me The Origin of Love. And that book, I did not read it. I read a lot of books from Master at that point. I think I read about maybe 20, 30 books at that point, but I didn't read that one. And then I asked her, well, why that book specifically? She said, because I got to understand the beauty of other people's souls and see their true Buddha nature. And I was like, whoa, like my 25-year-old mind like went mind blown. So I bought the book, but I didn't read it until many months later because I procrastinated as per usual. And when I finally sat down and read it, I read it in a single night. I actually stayed up pretty late to finish this book. It's not a big book. It's only around 100 something pages. I felt this deep, deep need to not just love myself, but to love other people. Because The Origin of Love literally teaches you, like almost even a logical way, in an emotional way as well, but in a logical way, how can you see the beauty of people's souls? And ever since then, I read this book many times throughout the last couple of years of my life. And this is how I actually carry myself in my life. I try to see the uniqueness in other people, the individuality, their beauty, like what makes them super special. At first, I had to find that in myself. And then eventually, when I see in other people, that's where I can easily share that I love people. I wasn't always like this. I used to hate people. I thought people were toxic. And I'm being very transparent here. But that book actually was the starting point for me to actually start seeing the beauty of people versus resenting people and like blaming people and make them look really ugly. I try to see the beauty first. So in conclusion, I implore you, while you're here at Happy Science, regardless where you're at in your spiritual journey, just pick a book that you feel very, like you just feel drawn to. You could do the discipleship course like Mariko said, or you could just look at the books and just let your intuition pick a book. Because I've done this many times and it's always been the right book for me. So this is the end of my talk. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Annette. And I just want to say, Annette is always the most perfect person to talk to. If you have any trouble picking out a book, just talk to her, tell her maybe 3 things and she can help you pick it out. She's really our book ambassador of New York Temple. So thank you. Each temple has one, so look out for your local ambassador. Thank you, Annette. Okay. So now we're going to change things up a bit. Takes a little bit of weight off your shoulders. I'm sure it's not heavy right now, but we're going to do something fun. We're going to do a true or false quiz to learn a little bit more about Happy Science. Okay, so get your thinking caps on and our PowerPoint. True or false? Ready, guys? Oh, yes. If you think it's true, raise your hand. It's true. It's true. If you think it's false, don't put your hand up. Simple as that, okay? Happy Science is a religion. True or false? It is true. Happy Science is a religion. We have faith in God, period. The universal God, El Cantare. Okay. You must convert or leave your other religion in order to join Happy Science. True or false? False? Oh, yes. No hands. False. No need to convert because all religions come from the same source. Good job, everyone. You will develop spiritual powers by joining Happy Science. Yeah. You think so? That's okay. Don't be shy. Yeah. Okay. About 30% of us. True. However, with the caps, this is not our main goal. Our main goal is attaining enlightenment, which is wisdom, which sometimes leads you to gain spiritual senses and some sort of spiritual insight or powers to help people. I just wanted to add that, to help and love more people. We don't just do it for ourselves. Okay, so we use our powers for helping others. Okay. Happy Science can cure your depression and make you happy. True or false? A big true. True, of course. You change your mind, you change your life. As simple as that. We learn how with the perfect blend of faith and the spirit of self-help, or the self-help spirit, which comes up a lot today. Last one. I can join the services without becoming a member or a devotee. True or false? True, absolutely. But once you show your determination to become a member, you take these teachings more seriously. You'll see true growth once becoming a devotee. So it's important to always have the aspiration to become better, and aspiration for enlightenment is a big word at Happy Science. All of us have it. You just need to brush it off. It's there. So please seek that. If you want to learn more about Happy Science and all those FAQs, those questions that you might have, we actually have a YouTube playlist or a bunch of videos, 100 of them actually, on the random questions that people have, like what is Happy Science's view on medicine, or what happens when we die, or what is a root of evil? You can scan that QR code right now or later, but please, these are really interesting talks between us us staff. So it was a lot of fun making this. Okay, good job, guys. I would say about 90%. Okay, to calm down, let's hear a beautiful performance, live performance from San Francisco. The members over there, Miss Masako on piano, and the chorus, Mayumi, Yoshika, and Hiromi. This song is called, in Japanese, it's called Uruwashiki Hikari no Kuni, which means the beautiful land of light, earth. And the lyrics will be on the screen, so feel free to join in. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. As we live our lives, we want this world to be more beautiful, the world that El Cantare created. And through many different progresses that we make, we're blessed with miracles. And in these next series that we will see here, we're going to hear first counts of how different people have experienced miracles, how the teachings has changed their lives. So here's a few more testimonies. So we want to invite Thilo from Vancouver. Let's go all the way up to Vancouver on the West Coast. And he is a blind member of Happy Science. And so you can imagine the different, life for the challenges that he may have, but he's going to share with us why he still comes to Happy Science. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, my name is Thilo from Vancouver, BC, Canada, and this is my guide dog, Adric. And we come to Happy Science here through the public transit, and we needs to transfer. So it takes us anywhere from half an hour to 50 minutes to come to Happy Science. Other from that, we travel all over the place. We hardly take taxis or Uber. We have trouble with guide dogs users with Uber a lot. They don't want to take us. We've had trouble like that with taxis. That is one kind of a challenge. But sometimes some restaurants, when we go in, they refuse because he's a guide dog and they don't understand. But that doesn't happen too often. My former religion, I was a Christian, and the religion itself was actually Catholic, and I found it to be too strict. I also found some of the teachings I was puzzled. I found it was a double-edged, thinking that those who help themselves will meet the fruit, but also it conflicts with me because I think those who help themselves, also the negative people who steal are helping themselves too, but that's not what they're trying to teach. I understand that. It also came away that Jesus is hope and he is the love, and also came away with the teachings of Christianity that you cannot give the power to the devil unless you give the power to devil for, if you do negative stuff. If you don't want the devil to have negative stuff, then it's best to learn to pray and to follow the teachings of the Christian or your religion. For me, I went to a retreat in May of last year, and I listened to several teachings of Happy Science. One was the Eightfold Path, and the other one was the Laws of the Sun. And that one, for some reason, resonated with me because Laws of the Sun, I have heard of other people doing other types of seminars, but I've never heard Laws of the Sun as a seminar. So I got an inspiration that I want to learn to do seminars, and I want to do Law of the Sun seminar here for the members in Vancouver. So I'm working on that, and I'm going through a book called Unhappiness Syndrome, which I find is very useful and help me to understand myself and other people more. And yeah, and that is what I'm not trying, I'm doing now. Every day I do some type of teachings of happy science. So thank you very much, and this is my talk.
Bye, doggy. Thank you, Thilo. Thank you so much. You know, a big part of happy science is experiencing miracles. You hear about them left and right here, big and small. And in a way, to unlock your hopes is to unlock miracles. But how do we do this? The main message of what we want to tell you today is the key to making miracles in life is having a spiritual perspective of life and to find, look, and create hope for yourselves and others. This is how you can unlock hope and create miracles. We want to move over to the other side of Canada, to Toronto, and meet Milithza, who I want to say has, when I listen to her story, all I could think about is her pure faith, her pure prayer, and deep love towards her mother. So please welcome Milithza from Toronto.
The miracle of my mom recovery from cancer. Hello all, my name is Milithza Silva. I was born in Panama but moved to Canada in 1999. I encountered the teachings of happy science long before there was an official temple in Toronto through the efforts of members who used to invite speakers to talk at the downtown university and also show movies. I became a member on April 17, 2007. Last year, on October 31st, I learned that some medical tests indicated my mom had uterine cancer. When my sister told me, the first thing I said was, I'm not surprised, because she was very judgmental and held resentments. I must mention that for several years I have requested Keegans, such as the prayer to restore health and the prayer to eradicate illness, because my mom has struggled through several health issues. Thus, with this news, I found the temple to request the super strong prayer for healing illness for November 5th. Moreover, I asked some of my friends, family members, and Happy Science staff to pray for her recovery. Over the years, I have brought to my mom a lot of Happy Science books, so I asked her to reread the book Healing Yourself and Miraculous Ways to Conquer Cancer. To know about a small traveling gohonson that I have brought to her a while back, and she also had the Dharma of the right mind. I had previously explained to her the importance of reciting it daily, but I didn't check if she did or not because she already does daily Catholic prayers and the Rosary. Since her diagnosis though, every time I call her, I remind her to read it every day, morning and night, in front of her gohonson, and to have faith that reciting it would help her heal. On January 2024, she started chemotherapy, and I have been planning since the year before to attend the Japan Holy Land Spring International Retreat in May. While there, I visited 11 shojas and shoshinkans and offered Keegans on several of them. Her last chemo session was done on May 30, and her next follow-up appointment was on July 30. On that day, we were informed that the treatment had been successful and there was no longer evidence of cancer. I immediately knew a miracle had occurred. First, because I had offered several Keegans with the utmost faith. Second, because throughout the whole time, she was very calm and serene. In fact, my sister and I, we were very concerned because we thought that for a person in her 70s, this treatment would be too hard for her. And lastly, the whole time, she didn't have any side effects other than hair loss. She was sleeping well and eating well. Sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't think that I would be so emotional. Anyhow, when I found out that she was doing so well through her treatment, I relaxed because I knew that heaven healing angels were supporting her. She had another follow-up visit on September 2 that went very well, and we'll continue to have check-up treatments every 3 months. But I know in my heart that Lord Cantare has made a miracle for her. Thank you so much, Master, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Milithza. I can really feel your power of prayer is so strong because your love is so, so, so strong. So thank you again for sharing. Speaking of powerful women, we have Donna from Toronto as well. And when I think of Donna, I think of the word shining, honestly. She'll be sharing her story on how Happy Science has changed, or why she decided to join Happy Science, actually. Here's Donna.
Thank you very much, Mariko. That brings me to tears, but thank you. So now I have to try and read from my papers so I don't go off script. But as Mariko said, I'm Donna from Toronto Temple, and I'm here to let you know why I joined Happy Science. So let me go back a little bit about my background. I've been a member of Happy Science now for about 7 years. But before that, I was on my spiritual quest for about 20 years. I started this quest because I was going through a very difficult time in my marriage. My husband was suffering from depression and suicidal episodes. I tried everything I could think of to help him and our family. Our children were just young at that time, 4 and 5. My last resort was to reach out to God. So I started reading many spiritual books at that time. I had read many North American authors like Neil Donald Walsh, Eckhart Tolle, Louise Hayes, etc. These books spoke of how to have a positive mindset and how to manifest things in your life. I was searching for my purpose in life. I had taken to heart all the teachings in these books, and I had read and manifested a wonderful life at that time. So I thought. I had 2 wonderful grown children at that time, or by that time. And I was living in Toronto in a beautiful condo, and I had been traveling, a great job, and traveling around the world. None of these books had any new teachings, though, about God and this earthly existence. I didn't have much of a religious background. I had only gone to Sunday school when I was like 5 for about a year, so I had no real spiritual background. But all this manifestation did not fulfill me. I remember speaking out loud to God and telling him that if this is all there was in life, please take me now. I have no other purpose. Then one Friday evening in June, I was out doing my errands after work, and I crossed paths with some people who were giving out books. To my pleasure, they were giving out a spiritual book, which was right up my alley. That had become my passion, was my spirituality. To my pleasure, they were giving out the spiritual book, and plus they said there was a meditation that evening at the library just down the street from my condo. So on my own, but I knew it was supposed to be a great practice, I thought, well, maybe I'll go and try it with a group and see how that went. So in the beginning of the meditation, they had a short teaching about God and reincarnation. I was quite impressed with the content of the meditation and the material at that time, because it was things that I had already come across and believed in at that time. During the actual meditation, I was able to connect with my guardian and guiding spirits, who I was already acquainted with. and the word immerse came to me. So I took their advice, as always, and became a member. Now, they were never wrong. I had been inspired by them in the past, and this time was no exception. So since that day, I have learned many truths about the universe and have been able to create a much more fulfilled life, full of love and happiness. So the main teaching of love that gives has enabled me to share these teachings with many people and has brought great joy to my life. And with the teachings of love that gives, wisdom, self-reflection, and progress, I have been deeply reflecting on my negative tendencies and have been able to see things from a more heavenly perspective and have deepened my faith in the Lord El Cantate. And in doing these practices, I have overcome my own depression, which, yes, it's curable, fears and anxiety, and I am now starting my own journey as a lecturer here at Happy Science. So thank you for listening to my little speech. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Donna. So here, let us go over how and why these miracles happen and how they are possible. We have to observe the power of their pure faith and also their efforts, the keyword efforts, and how the abstract was made possible by daily efforts. Sometimes how these things possible is by these tiny little efforts, daily prayer, daily studying, daily meditating. So daily efforts is very important. These efforts were to deepen their faith, the effort to believe, the effort to pray, and the effort to have deep gratitude too. Basically living a faithful lifestyle. So how can we get started? How do we live a happy science lifestyle? Let's watch. Thank you so much, Team Toronto, Diane and Yuki, for making such a cute, wonderful, inspiring video. Thank you so much. The ladies of Toronto are amazing. Speaking of efforts and a faithful lifestyle, I've known this woman since I was a little girl, since my first journey in Happy Science, and I must say she has not changed a bit. But I must say, when I think about faithful lifestyle and effort, I think of Mimi from Orange County. So here she's going to share with us her account or an experience she had that changed her perspective from having a victim mentality to a self-help mentality. So here's Mimi from Orange County.
Hi, everyone. Happy Science has taught me many important truths, but the most significant is the understanding of the spiritual influence. Every day, constantly, we're living under spiritual influence. On July 24th this year, I was on my way here to Happy Science Orange County Temple. And all of a sudden, there was a huge bam right in front of my face. Oh my gosh, what just happened? I was just so stunned. I realized the huge softball that struck my car's windshield and cracked it all over, actually. Yeah, they're going to show it right there. Yeah, it was actually, felt like it was bigger. It was all over. And my goodness, and immediately I knew it was my fault. The state of my mind has attracted the accident. The night before, I was upset over something I shouldn't have been upset. And I was able to calm down that night, but the next morning when I woke up and I opened the email, that reminded me of the same incident that I was upset again. So because I knew it was state of my mind that attracted this accident, immediately I apologized to the Lord, to my guardian spirit, and to all my soul siblings. And then I went to the baseball field, which is, as you already know where it is, it's next to Huntington Library. I stopped the game. I talked to the umpire. And then next thing was that I was on the phone with the director of the Ball Game Association. His name's Dan. And then he said, in a case like this, I will have to actually file a report with Huntington Beach City. And I had to get approval from them. And then I had to go get the estimate for repair. And then I had to take it back to the Huntington Beach City and get another approval for that. And then actually back and forth, it's a lot of work. And it's going to take a long time. But Dan also told me like this, if you can get it fixed today, I will give you a check today. And he told me about SafeLight. That is a company that comes to your house within 24 hours of an accident to replace the car windshield, actually. Yeah. And then, okay, so long story short, they came to my house next day and they replaced my car windshield completely. And my car was back to completely normal, as if nothing had happened before. It was just amazing. Okay, so they're going to show you the picture. That's the right next day, within 24 hours of my accident, right in front of my front driveway, actually. And it was actually better because of my windshield had a little bit of cracks here and there. It was all gone. It was back to brand new car next day, right? I was so happy. And I knew this was all because of my fault. And I was scolded by my guardian spirit for having negative thoughts first, right? But because I was able to actually correct the state of my mind right after the accident, I was actually supported by my guardian spirit. So first, I was scolded, but then said, if I did not learn the truth at Happy Science, the teaching of the spiritual influence at Happy Science, I would have had victim mentality and blamed everybody but me. I would have blamed ball game players and umpire, Dan, the director of the Ball Game Association. But I was able to feel responsible for it. I was able to correct the state of my mind. And I was so thankful, so thankful for the lesson that I received from Lord Alcantara. Now, I actually try my best not to have any kind of negative thought. I try my best though. But anyway, so not to have any negative thought, but keep a positive mindset. And again, we are living constantly under spiritual influence every day. And that is actually related to the state of our mind. And this is one of many I learned at Happy Science, one of the huge wisdom that I gained at Happy Science. So I'm very thankful to Lord Alcantara. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mimi. She's the minister of Orange County Temple. Yes, so getting rid of this victim mindset, it really, and also like negative thinking, period, will give you freedom to make good things happen in your life. So please do not underestimate that you literally have the steering wheel, so you can either crash it or keep going ahead and ahead. So thank you again, Mimi. So as you can see, Happy Science is a very spiritual but very rational religion. We take studying very seriously. We also take faith and self-effort very seriously, and as a prerequisite for miracles, or in other words, changes to happen. This is the middle way. It might sound boring, but progress through the middle way is the golden road of life. It is your surefire way to progress and great success. In other words, thriving through faith. So try to thrive through your faith every day. One way we can do that is to truly immerse yourself in Happy Science teachings and to have a Happy Science lifestyle, to really immerse in the teachings and the vibrations that Happy Science temples have. So we have many retreats here and also around the world, but in Japan particularly. And these moments, for me personally, have really transformed the way I think and feel and made progress in my own spiritual journey. And everyone that has been to a retreat will tell you the same thing. They made the greatest leaps through these retreats. So we want to share a highlight video on a recent trip that we took to Japan. Thank you so much. So as you can see, these retreats are so much fun. I mean, don't go just for the fun, but it is actually super fun. And the most fun I've ever had at these Happy Science experiences were with all my Dharma friends. They really create a core group, and just like the friends that you make here are like no other, I have to say. And it's, you make changes in your life because you are immersed. You're in a very high vibrational spiritual atmosphere where your guardian spirits are able to communicate with you better. It's hard to meditate at home, right? Or to connect, or even to read a book. You get so distracted. But while you're at these monasteries or temples across the world, especially in Japan, we have a beautiful place in Hawaii as well. You just feel a different sense of progress and leaps in your spiritual journey. So I highly recommend you take this opportunity to go. We want to invite two members to talk about their experiences at these retreats. First, we have Jenifer from Orange County, who's going to share her experience in these retreats.
Hi, my name's Jenifer Henke, and I'm just so honored that I'm able to share my experience from the Happy Science Retreat in Japan. You know, as someone who is often swept up by the busyness and the fast pace of just ordinary routines and life, we just don't find the time to explore ourselves. And so this retreat really just helped peel back all the layers and allow me to reflect on my life. I think the most powerful and memorable moment of this entire retreat for me was hearing about the testimonial between the mother and daughter and their relationship over time. How their relationship was tenuous and had deeply embedded feelings of anger that built up over many, many years. In the testimonial, the daughter really explains that when she was younger, she was sent off to be raised off by another guardian, and as a result, the daughter had held this sense of resentment toward her mother. But after going through the Eightfold Path seminar, the daughter explains in her testimony that she shared how she was able to put herself in her mother's shoes, and she began to realize all of the sacrifices that her mother had made were unbeknownst to her. And she began to realize just how much love that she felt, how much of the heartache and pain that her mother had to endure, how much she just didn't realize that until she was able to really reflect and understand where her mother was coming from. And the mother in that same testimonial explains that, after the war, she had no money, she had no resources, and bereft of really any other decision, she had to send her daughter to be taken care of by another guardian. So through this reflection, they came to both realize that they had suffered immense emotional distress, but it was because they deeply cared so much about each other. They were meant for each other's soul trainings. And after seeing that, just something really deep sparked inside of me. I empathized a lot with the daughter because I too was really harsh to my mother at times. In that same vein, those latent feelings of kind of resentment, feeling like she was abandoned, I kind of resonated with that deeply. And my mother was essentially missionary zero in America at the time, back in the early in the 90s. She had a great mission to bring the truth to the US, and as a result she spent a considerable amount of time in Happy Science Koan seminars, retreats, and really bringing the truth to North America. And I felt, as a young child, not really understanding the background, I felt abandoned because my mother was away for prolonged periods of time. But after this incredibly reflective experience, I came to realize that my mother sacrificed everything for me. I was so self-oriented. I was unable to see how much she loved, she cared, she guided me throughout my entire life. I imagined her watching me through those nurturing maternal eyes, and how much she loved watching me grow up every year. Seeing how I was so self-absorbed, it just brought me to tears. I was so stirred, I was so inspired, and I saw how much she loved from me. And just sharing this realization to everybody, just tears just ran down my face. I felt the hands of my guardian angels, guardian spirits, all in that room, sharing the sanctimonious moments, that connection that just transcended words. I just felt the connection, the light flow within me through God. And so that silence, I think, that connection will last not just my current lifetime, but for the many lifetimes to come. So for anyone contemplating whether or not this retreat is for them, if the opportunity is there, this is not a vacation. This is not at all a time away. It is a sacred journey. And I encourage anyone that this opportunity may only come once in a lifetime. So if the door is open, it is there for you. This is your sign to step through it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jenifer. So we also have one member here in New York, Carlos, to also share his experience at the recent retreat.
Back. Hello, everybody. Sorry, thank you for having me. I'll make this short as possible. I know people are tired. So I think it's important to give a little bit of my background. Like, I was in the military. I went to Afghanistan, and so Happy Science is kind of a religion for everybody, all sorts of perspective. And I think the synopsis of today is that if you change your perspective to the right perspective, life will be so much better. I got out the military. I was complaining so much. I used to say, man, life sucks, this and this and that. And I didn't really understand, coming from a Christian background, what is love and what is faith. It's just like, what is that? What does it mean? But they made it seem so important. So I had a very shallow perspective of kind of life. And when I came to Happy Science, I went to a Japanese retreat. And when I got off the bus and I saw and I saw Sohonza Sushinkan, the first thing that came into my mind, like this feeling, this like intuition came into my mind. Is like, oh my God, this is like the base, the most important gift that the Lord has given us for all of humanity. I just instantly knew that. And so we go through the process of checking ourselves in the rooms and like that. And then we get to hear the minister's perspective of his enlightenment about what the Soshinkan, the temple where we were staying at, what it means to him. And it just so happens that he said the same thing. He said that his intention was to make this the base, the most important place for the training ground of angels, of creation of angels here on earth. This was it. And I tapped into that unconsciously, and I understood that I am receiving the minister's inspiration for creating this atmosphere, this very pure atmosphere where we can go and pray and be alongside other members who are all positive. And it's the idea of like negative and positive is negative, and then positive and negative is also negative. But we were around just positive people. So it was this idea where like, dude, it's just happiness, right? And it goes on. So we go to the other Soshinkans, and we get the perspective of the minister's enlightenment of what they receive. And it's just, you know, it's too much. Maybe if you guys catch me outside, I'll tell you some of what I've got, but it's so much information. Finally, we went to Chitankan, the biggest temple. I don't know that biggest, but it's very beautiful. It's the biggest statue. It's very beautiful. And the understanding I got out of it was like, oh, it's like I'm in heaven. One, I can't explain it, but I knew that I would have to go back to earth. I knew that the trip was almost over, that I had to go back to earth, and that I would have to deal with this griminess, this dirtiness. I knew that I was like, oh, dude, I don't want to do that. And that's like kind of like what the soul does when it's incarnated. It's like, I'm in heaven, but I got to go back to earth. You know, it's like kind of what you get. So that's kind of the feeling that I got when I was in the temple. And it was like, oh, I knew I got to come back down. And it was heavenly, very heavenly. So I highly recommend, if you ever get a chance, just come to the small ones first. If it's the big ones too much, come to the small ones, the retreats here at your local temple. Sometimes we do Toronto. It's just a 15-hour drive, or like 15, bro, like 15. And if you take the flight, avoid Air Canada, or just keep it small. Keep it small, guys. Keep it small. And then when you're ready, come to Japan, because I guarantee you, it's just very, it's totally different. And so that's just my perspective. My perspective on just life is just overall much happier. I'm so much positive, and I understand what love is. I understand what faith is. Love is giving to others, and I saw that with my eyes in Japan. I saw it with my eyes. Everyone is giving each other love, especially from the staff members. They were giving everyone so much love, and they weren't asking for anything back other than just participate with us. And so I saw it with my own eyes, and you see that everywhere in society, like the subway system, that's love. Your parents, being brought up in a nice environment, going to a good school, that is all the societal love that society has allowed us to be in. And so we're creating a more loving society. So the idea is that we're creating a utopia. And coming back from 100 years ago, this is a very, very loving society. So I don't complain anymore. I'm not very negative. I'm very happy. And I just thank Happy Science, and thank you so much for taking my time, and thank you.
Feel so excited to go to the next seminar. Yes, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, that joy, that happiness is like crazy. Like the how you feel, right, guys? Like who've been there, like you can't explain it. You see love everywhere. You see how it works. You feel like you can just grab it, right? Like it's visible love. So it's really amazing. So many angels, and you literally, like he said, you feel like you're in heaven. Like it's the closest feeling you will ever have to being in heaven. So take advantage. The next retreat we have is Nepal, Japan, and Hawaii next year. So yeah, save up, go, just go. Like don't miss this opportunity. Okay, so we're nearing the end of today's program. Thank you so much for staying this long. We're almost done. But the most important message is now. So let us hear from Master Okawa himself with today's most important message.
"この愛と悟りという2つの大きな武器を持って、そしてこの地上をユートピアにしていく必要があります。それは物質的なユートピアではありません。この世の利便性を決して否定するつもりはありませんし、食べ物や着るものや家、その他のものを否定する気はありません。それもまた人間の幸福感に寄与するものであることは十分に理解しておりますが、主と従とを間違えてはいけないということです。心の修行のために生きているんだというこの主なるものを忘れてはいけない。その心の修行の便益のためにさまざまなものがあるんだということですね。さまざまなこの世的な文明の恩恵があるんだということ。この主と従を間違わないことです。間違わないで結局はどのような生活形態、社会形態の中においても人々が愛と悟りを求めて生きていけるような、そういう心の社会を建設していくことが大事なんだと。私たちが求めているユートピアというのは、例えば目に見える姿でのユートピアでは必ずしもありません。こういう建物がある、こんな道路がある、そしてこういう形態で生活する、こういう政治理念、経済理念で生活すればユートピアかというとそうではありません。それはいろいろと変化するものでありましょう。変化するものの中にあって変化しない方向性を人々が知っている、向かうべき方向を知っている、その高みを知っている、この地上世界を菩薩や如来の世界に近づけていく、天使の世界に近づけていく、この修行のために大勢の人たちが長い長い年月この世において魂修行をしているんです。これが仏の偉大なる計画なんであります。その日が一日も早く来ることを願いつつ、太陽の方という一冊の本が一人でも多くの人の手に届きますように、またまだ真理に出会っていない人たちの導きになりますように、真実の世界が開かれ、目の鱗が落ち、そして仏の子として新しい人生が始まりますように、そのように祈らせていただきたいと思います。ありがとうございました。
Thank you so much, Master, for those powerful words. Now let us welcome and hear from Head Minister of Happy Science North America, Yushi Hagimoto, for his closing comments, as well as a closing prayer from Bob, Minister Bob in Florida Temple.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining the very first ever joint Happy Science North America headquarter temples joint Sunday service. Yay! The moment I got the idea, which was like 6 months ago, it's been 6 months and I still have not come up with the short, tight name to be able to say all North America headquartered temples joint Sunday service. That's so long. What's that? Acronym. You know, abbreviation, whatever. What are we going to call this? We're going to do this once a year, guys. What are we going to call this? Someone please think of a shorter way of saying this, because it's really hard to say all of that all at once. Love North America. Thank you, gentlemen wearing a Delaware hoodie. Nice to meet you. It's awesome to be able to meet new faces, old faces. Good to see you, Brother Anthony. Yeah. So, you know, it's Happy Science is a totally new movement that, as you can see, you might be confused. It talks about Buddha, it talks about Jesus, it talks about, I mean, there's people from Panama, healing miracles, a mother living in Panama, and she was praying from Toronto. You know, there's just so many things going on at once, but it's about loving North America. It's about loving this planet. And because by loving this planet and loving the Lord, you're loving yourself. That's the most important teachings of hope. I just wanted to speak like a pastor. Because, we're connecting North America, right? I'm just juiced up, but literally no jokes. It's about loving the Lord, loving others. That's loving yourself in the most truest way. Easier said than done. That's why we have all of these wonderful people here. Right, Gilberto? Yes. I loved how in the retreat, you were wearing the flip-flops of the bathroom going up into the prayer hall. A lot of things that you don't know at the first try, but next time you'll know not to wear bathroom flip-flops into the prayer hall. But I love you all so much. Thank you all. And I hope this won't be a beginning for each and every one of you for a new journey. Grasp it, as Walter said in the very beginning. Decide to be happy. Unleash the dynamite within and allow that explosion to reach the ends of this planet. Let's make everyone happy. Thank you very much.
Lord Alcantara, Master Okawa, the primary Buddha of the great universe. Thank you for allowing us get together whole North America temples. With our gratitude, let us recite prayer of thanks. A prayer of thanks, Ryuho Okawa. Thanks God, our Lord. We are born as human beings. We are now still human beings. So we love each other. So we have mercies. And you already have forgiven us. Because you are almighty. You can do everything. Thanks God, our Lord. You are the key to heaven. You are the gate to real happiness. So we believe in you. So we indeed follow you. And you already let us do justice. Because you are goodness itself. You can destroy evil. Thanks God, our Lord. You are everything. We love you so much. So we need you so much. And you are with us every time, everywhere. Because you are love itself. You are standing by us forever.
Thank you, Bob. And thank you, everyone, for joining today. We're here at the end, and I just want to thank you so much for joining. This is our very first time doing it all together. Please stick around because I'm not going to keep you here for much longer. We're going to take a big group photo. But also, I want to welcome any of you who are not a student member or devotee to please make that step today. This is a beautiful day. We've all heard so many wonderful stories, testimonies, accounts of these beautiful members' life stories. So thank you to all of the people across US and Canada who share their stories today. And also, if you would like to make a happiness planting donation, this is a planting of happiness for the future so other people can discover happy science as well, to build more temples, to publish more books. So if you'd like to make a happiness planting, please do so at your local temple. And those of you on Zoom, you can use our website, happyscienceusa.org. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Thanks for joining us.